nothing happen. This oft-quoted line is from W.H. Auden poem, In Memory of W.B. Yeats. In our culture, nothing is a negative word, but I posit that nothing is a good thing. It gives us a chance to pause, to reflect, to think for ourselves, and to see what is in front of us. I have observed that poetry creates empathy. It slows down time so that we can observe a detail and then a feeling. And since empathy starts with the self, it may be that almost all poetry is social justice poetry. Recently, I have noticed that I am sighing and feeling depressed whenever I see a headline. There are lots of reasons to feel depressed, especially in the news. But as someone who actively combats depression by doing Buddhist chanting every day and practicing yoga, the feeling was strong enough for me to recognize it. At that time I was feeling this way, I was reading Carolyn Forche's memoir of witness and resistance, titled after a line of one of her most well-known poems, written about her time in El Salvador in the late 1970s. What you have heard is true. Carolyn, who was in El Salvador in the time that was building up to a civil war, is an internationally known poet and professor. It was during the reading of this memoir, and possibly because of it, when I decided that depression was a luxury I couldn't afford. I am, after all, a writer, and words matter. I first met Carolyn at a week-long poetry workshop at a mega institute that I took with my friend Ann Arfa, who is playing the piano today. Thank you, Ann. I was 29, the same age as Gertrude Stein, when she first started taking herself seriously as a writer. There's a lot I have forgotten about the workshop since it was a long time ago. But what stayed with me was my daily discipline of writing and the line of poetry from a poet I had never heard before but came to love, Mary Oliver. I didn't know who Carolyn Forche was before the workshop, but my partner, Barbara, told me that she was an important poet and that I would love her work. Barbara is usually right. This time she was very right. The lines of my poetry became longer and began to include dialogue, so I migrated from poetry to prose. I didn't think about it then, but the discipline and the lyricism I had learned in that poetry workshop was with me when I wrote my book TVs, a memoir of mothers and daughters, published by Bella Books in 2012, and my novel They, a biblical tale of secret genders, published by Emily Books in 2018. I remember Carolyn staring at me during the workshop when she talked about the importance of a daily writing practice. I may have imagined it, but in this moment of doing nothing, no words were spoken. It's quite possible that I picked up the mantle of responsibility. I was one of the students who would write daily. And long before I was a Unitarian Universalist, I considered my daily writing practice to be a spiritual practice. Carolyn Forche's memoir brought this all back to me. What you have heard is true, is particularly significant in light of the tragic mishandling and the crisis of immigration and asylum seekers we are witnessing at our borders. The memoir is a reminder that the poverty and violence people are fleeing in the South and Central Americas was created in part by the U.S. government. Our tax dollars help the government support brutal corruption in the name of suppressing what the U.S. government called communism. What this really did was keep the masses of people impoverished. The information wasn't new to me. In the old days, there was lots of overlap between progressive communities. Still, I found the information to be as gripping as it was appalling. I couldn't put the book down. Forche extensively quotes Leonel Gomez Vidas, the man who watered El Salvador. I will leave you in his words to ponder. Do you want to know? What is revolutionary? To tell the truth. This is what you will do when you return to your country. From the beginning, this has been your journey, your coming to consciousness. Namaste.